Hi, everybody. I'm Simon Hunter.
And I'm Elliot Grove.
And welcome to the Real Scene podcast, your weekly update of independent film, everything that's happening in the industry, and tips and advice for the aspiring filmmaker. And this week it's just going to be Elliot and I, and we're going to give you something which everybody is after, which always people come up to ask me all the time, which is, how do you survive Cannes? How do you get through the festival? How do you pay for a coffee in Cannes? How do you get accreditation? What should you do? What should you not do? How do you avoid looking like a complete donkey down on the Riviera? Elliot, have you any Cannes stories where something amazing happened to you that you made a complete fool of yourself or not?
Well, every year I go to Cannes and make a complete fool of myself, and every year when I go to Cannes something magical happens that makes me realize that was worth all the effort and, I might say, expense of attending. But I wouldn't know where to start. But I do think there are some really important tips that between us we can give people watching this.
What's the myth of Cannes? What does everybody think it is and it isn't?
They think Cannes is... Well, Cannes is two things. One is a film market, the marché de film, where people come from all over the world to buy films, and people, the myth is that you think you can just go there and sell your film. The myth is, or the fact is, you need to join the marché as an exhibitor, which can cost tens of thousands of euros, which is why sales agents join the marché, but they have a whole series of films, one of which might be yours, hidden behind the black curtain, hard to see. The other myth about the festival is that anyone can submit their film to the festival, and yes, you can. But there is a committee of people that come around the major cities in the world. New York, they were just in London, where they put films on it. You'll remember Mr. Young's. They have two screens. They put one on one thing, and the adjudication team go in, and after 5 minutes, if they don't like it, they go into the other one and watch that after 5 minutes and go back and forth like that. And every film producer pays 300 to 500 euros to submit their film to the Cannes Film Festival. Those are the myths and a bit of the reality, but the fact is, Go ahead.
No, we'll come on to accreditation, how you get in, because that's the mad thing and the difficult thing. I mean, I've always found people often come up to us, don't they, and they go, "My film's showing in Cannes," and you kind of implies it's showing in what is the director's fortnight, which is effectively the festival. But actually it's in the film market, and the film market is tens of thousands of films that are probably thousands of films that are screened there every year. And it's often a place, I think, where we suggest that people start their independent film journey, not finish it, because you go down there, have a look at what's being sold, the sort of films that are being made outside of the Hollywood machine, and it's quite an eye-opening experience, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's two ways to get accreditation. One is free, and one you pay for. The one you pay for is accreditation to the Marché de Film. They ask you one question, and if you answer it correctly, you're in. And the question is, could you supply us with 16 numerals that our bank recognizes for the tune of some 500 euros? In other words, you buy a pass. Although this year they have a 3-day pass, which is a lot cheaper. And the free pass, you have to be a so-called industry professional or student, and you go on the website of the Cannes Film Festival, and there's a cookie crumb trail. Do you qualify or not? I've done both.
Do you have to have an IMDb credit for that?
Yes, pretty much you do. And if you don't, you have to get someone to say that you were director of their film or actor in their film or whatever. Or you can go through one of the trade unions, corresponding trade unions in France. So if you were a budding cinematographer, the Cinematography Guild in France, whatever they're called, I forget, actor and so on, you can do that. But you need your accreditation. There's no point in going to Cannes without the lanyard with a little badge, unless you want to hang out at the coffee shops and hope they run into someone like you or me, racing from one meeting to another with no time to say more than hello, goodbye.
I think if you could do 2 weeks at the coffee shops just hanging around buying coffee, you pretty much could just save the money and pay for an independent film, I would think. I mean, it's
yes, you can. You can.
It's not a good thing. So the other way to get in, I heard, which I haven't done, but other people I know have done, which is the short film a booth that they have, and basically it's that they show a whole bunch of short films, and if you have a short film that you've entered and it's just into the market, it's not the festival, so it's not a festival, you don't have to get into the Cannes Festival with a short film, just the market, and you get in and you pay your money for it to be shown, provided it's of reasonable, decent quality. I mean, you know, it's not just an iPhone on a Sunday afternoon, it looks reasonably professional, and you can get in that way. You can get in if you have a credit on that film. So some of the ways that you can do it is you find somebody who's got a short film who wants to take it down to the market to get it seen. You could get on that film as a associate producer or something and say, look, here's the deal. I get my accreditation in Cannes. You get your short film shown at the market, and we both win. So you get some publicity and some notoriety. I get my little badge. I can get in. Win-win.
No, yeah, that's true. But remember, the short film corner is unadjudicated, and no one serious professional will even bother looking at the films there.
No.
But you will meet.
It's just to get you. It's just to get you a pass, isn't it? It doesn't do any of the. It doesn't get you any credit. You can almost do it on a short film for somebody you know. Yeah. You know, just to kind of get you there.
Yeah, and it's a lot cheaper. I think was it last year was €95 to submit.
Yeah.
And it's about 2,000 shorts they take, and they play on banks of computers, so it's not in a proper screening room. But hey, you got your pass. No.
And you've got your pass for like $100, haven't you? As opposed to a producer pass, which is like $400, isn't it?
So it's five now.
$500. Yeah. So there you go. So that's a really good. So what should people put in their rucksack first of all? What should you take down with you to Cannes? If you're, I mean, most people go independent film. People who are watching this podcast, they go as independent filmmakers wanting to get their film either a distributor, so they're going probably with a sales company and their film is getting screened there. That's a cool way of going. Or they're going just to look for finance or interest or to try and get their project up and running. What are you going to put in that rucksack when you pack to go?
The most important thing is a really comfortable pair of shoes. And girls, if you're listening, sneakers during the day. And if you want to go up the red carpet, they won't allow sneakers or sandals. So a pair of shoes, maybe with kitten heels so you don't kill your feet. That's number one. Second is, of course, sun protection gear. That would be good. And then, guys, if you want to go to the red carpet screening, you need to bring a tuxedo or a black tie and a white shirt. You don't need to have the tux thing. If you don't do that, you can rent them for the day, but it's like 60 to 80 euros just to rent a tux for one night. So throw that in your bag. During the daytime, it is dressed informal and comfortable. And remember, Cannes can get chilly at night, so a jacket or sweater if you're walking around. And very importantly, an umbrella, because it often rains. And when it rains in Cannes, it doesn't drizzle, it pours.
One of the things I think in addition to that, the other because that is going to, you know, Cannes can be very, very expensive, can't it? It's somewhere that just drains you of money. One of the other things, that just the practical hard things, is where do you stay in Cannes? I mean, what do you always do? You stay outside and move and go in. Is that most? I mean, most independent filmmakers do that. They don't stay anywhere near Cannes. They come in by bus or train every day.
Yeah, or you can look on Airbnb. This year, the Raindance team, there's 8 of us going down, and we found a apartment we used last year, which is about a 20-minute walk uphill from the Palais and a 10-minute walk downhill. And I think it's going to cost each of us about €55 per night. But then we're sleeping on carpets and, you know, on top of each other. But you can walk in 15 minutes. I mean, if you stay outside of Cannes, remember all the transit stops at 11 o'clock at night. And if you miss the last train to your suburban place, the Ubers or whatever are hellishly expensive. Although I understand, Simon, the last time you were there, you helicoptered in from Nice.
I actually have helicoptered into Cannes, and it was very nice. We had a very wealthy private investor, and you've got to keep your head on the ground a little bit when that happens. It was very nice. But when I go with you, Elliot, we'll definitely be walking in and stopping at the local supermarket for our breakfast.
Yeah, the supermarket and food markets are great. I mean, Simon, I know you're vegan like me, and getting the vegetables and a loaf of bread from the local patisserie and take along a bread knife, make sure you don't get busted at the airport for carrying a weapon, and you can sit on a park bench and make a lovely lunch, better than that. And of course, any of you who are into alcohol, that's cheap and readily available just about everywhere in Cannes. And if you're not, then maybe, come on, you can survive. You've made a film for next to nothing. Surely you can survive a week in Cannes with nearly nothing.
Yeah.
The other way
if you're going to blow lots of money, I mean, you just might as well save it and make a film. I mean,
yeah. But if you have the pass that lets you into the marché, which is either the free one or spent one, there's something I've done many times, is you graze. So early morning, lots of these booths, the Israeli, the Hungarian, the Polish, the American, will have breakfast. Then often they'll have a special lunch thing with, you have to listen to some supposed expert. And then happy hour 4 till 6, they have drinks and canapes. I remember one year in 3 days, I spent a total of €6 and I couldn't have eaten another canapé. I was stuffed. Yeah.
The first time I went to Cannes, we did exactly that. We just went from one thing to another to another. You just look and it says drinks, canapes, and you just think, oh, that'll be lunch, that'll be dinner. And then you hear about, come to Poland to shoot your independent film, look at the great studio space, and you're thinking, lovely, 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 where's the snacks? Bring them on.
I call that living off the land.
It's living off the land. I mean, what do you think, as an independent filmmaker, you should be aiming to do when you're there? Is it just networking, a bunch of cards, and you just meet whoever you can, get the cards, and call them back when you get back to town? Is that pretty much what it is? It's just saying hi, shaking hands. This is my project.
It is informing relationships, but I think anyone going there with even an idea for a film should go with a couple of assets. A movie poster that you can show on an iPad, not maybe the big iPad, but the mini iPad or your phone, worst case scenario, and also 3 to 5 lines of what the movie's about. No one's going to finance your film just on a first thing, but if they're intrigued enough, they may ask you to follow up, exchange email details. So if nothing else, too, even at parties with people at your level, show them your poster and do some test marketing to see whether or not their eyes glaze over when they see your poster or read your tagline. And some of them might have good suggestions, and they will ask you to respond to theirs. You will also get a real feel for the types of films that are being acquired by reading the daily trades. That's another huge advantage of going to Cannes, is every day all the trade papers from around the world, the French, the German, the American, the British, many, 30, 40 different trades. You pick up the ones in the language of your choice and flick through it, and you'll see what was successful distribution-wise or sales-wise the day before, and you sort of get a feel. And then, of course, even without a market pass, you can still, with a festival pass, walk through the marché and look at all the posters from all the different sales agents. And if you're able to, speak to some of them, the one from Poland, the one from Saudi, the one from Canada, the one from Brazil, and find out what kind of projects they are attracted to give you some market research of what maybe you should spend your time on when you get back home.
It's quite I mean, you're used to it because you go pretty much every year, but I think if you're an independent filmmaker and you haven't got a sense of what the industry is outside of Hollywood and Netflix, I think it's quite shocking when you go, because the sheer volume of stuff that's being made outside of your radar, isn't it? I mean, you just film after film after film that you've never heard of that will end up on, TV, obscure streaming, a DVD, wherever, just direct video, sales, all those platforms. And you just go, wow, there's an awful lot of stuff being made. I mean, masses that I haven't heard of. And you get a sense, I guess, of the genre and the type of film that the actual market is after. I mean, it's it's the place to start an independent film journey, isn't it, really? It's not the place to end it. It's the place to start it, I think. Even if you don't go there for finance, just have a look at the landscape.
Well, the trends, too. I mean, TikTok was there last year. Yeah, I was there last year. TikTok with what they call vertical format, VF. Yeah. And they even now have festival screenings where you line up and look at a vertical screen, not a horizontal screen. to me, I find it horrible. But they're doing the 1 minute micro shorts. So you're doing soap operas with 600 episodes, each 1 minute long, coming out of China. And in China, these outsold the theatrical distribution money last year. So there's a lot of trends. People's attention spans are failing, getting shorter and shorter. Doom scrolling, where people go through YouTube, TikTok, whatever, and they see something that they like. They stop, they look at it, but they can't remember a minute later where they saw it. So how do you monetize? That whole structure is changing, ad-supported, and so on. So understanding the monetization end first means that if you ever are lucky enough to meet a wealthy individual, you can explain to them a bit better how they can recoup, either through the ad revenue spend, or if they're a UK taxpayer under one of the different UK tax schemes that I know you know about, the enterprise investment scheme and so on, where
we're going to do a special podcast on that, actually.
Oh, good. Because, or through a charity. So if you have a film that is social impact, for example, you might get funded by one of the many charities around the world, which we've had many of those films at Raindance over the years. But it is exciting to come to Cannes and see everybody.
Yeah, just for that, you mean? Just for the
It's a spectacle.
The film thing.
It's a spectacle. It's a spectacle. Yeah. And when the first time I went, way back in the early mid-90s, I thought it was going to be big. I could not believe the scope of it. And even though
do you think it's the best of the film markets to go to? Because there's Cannes, the big ones are Cannes, the European film market, the EFM at the Berlinale. Effectively, it's similar because it runs with the Berlin Festival at the same time, and AFM in Santa Monica. They're the three biggies, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you think it's the most fun one to go to? I think
it's probably the most fun one, namely because the weather's better. Berlin's in February. Sunshine. When
it's miserable.
Berlin, I was thinking of my plan next year. I might go to Berlin and not Cannes next year, simply because it's so much smaller and has more of the arty type stuff, the more of the stuff that is appealing to Raindance Film Festival. But my God, you can freeze your toes off in Berlin mid-February. Do you want to hear my one Cannes story before we sign off?
Yeah.
Yes,
I do.
What are the questions you have?
No. I want to hear your. Before we hear it, can I just make just one observation? Also, I think if you are a filmmaker who's made an independent film, you've got a sales agent attached, and they're taking it to Cannes as the first film market that they're going to. So in other words, if you finished a film in Christmas time, probably after February actually, because they'd go to Berlin. But say you finish it in March, April, the first film market is going to be Cannes. Say that you're in that position and they're going to take it down there, and basically what they're looking for, they're putting on screenings, distributors are coming to the screenings, they're going to see it, they're going to approach your sales company, and basically if they like it, will offer them minimum guarantee or some sort of deal to screen and have the rights to your film in that individual territory. So if that happens to you, you should absolutely go and not just let the sales agent just sell it on their own, because of just the experience of sitting in your film in a screening with hard-nosed distributors is quite an experience, because they're literally, they're like this. Yeah. Oh, there's been an explosion. Okay, good. Oh, no explosion. Boom, and off they go. And it is just the coal face of filmmaking. It's brutal, but somehow honest. And there's nothing cooler than two distributors sitting to the end of your film. It happened to me a long time ago. And they go up to the sales company at the end and go, "We really like that. Can we buy it for Germany?" And another German distributor says, "Can we buy it for Germany too?" And you're thinking, "Ha, we've got a little bidding war going on." It is a thrill of making films. So if you're in that position where you've got a sales agent, you've finished your film, you've screened it to a sales company, they're going to take it to Cannes, put on some screenings and sell the thing, get down there, get some t-shirts printed up, some posters, like Elliot says, your trailer on your iPad for meetings. Just get down there, try and do a stunt or something on the Corset, do something fun, and sit in those screenings and help that film being sold. You make contacts with distributors who will take you to their territories to help publicise your film, and they're useful for the future. Who knows? You might get pre-sales with them for your next project. You're establishing relationships, everything else. So that's my just 6p worth on Cannes. But to finish up this evening's chat on Cannes, I think we should have a famous Elliot Grove anecdote.
Harrison Ford was in a movie, the big one about 10 years ago. What would have that been? Come on, help me out, Simon. You're the genius. One of his. It was a big gala screening at Cannes, and I decided I wanted to see it. I got the free ticket because I had to pass, and I went 2 hours ahead of time. And of course, I couldn't get in because they oversell the screenings with all the comps that don't show up. Now I'm trying to get across from the Palais, across the road, and all the policemen have it blocked off. And then I see down coming towards me a limousine, black limousine with smoke mirrors. The back window rolled down this far and cigarette smoke coming out of the window, and there's big hairy knuckles on the window. So I'm going forward trying to get across. The policemen are saying no, and it gets closer and closer, and suddenly there's the car going like that, and there's my knuckles going like that. I look inside, and it was Harrison Ford sitting with Callista Flockhart. So I can, Simon, I came this close to brushing knuckles with Harrison Ford.
Wow, that was it. Did you get into the screening? No.
No. I went across.
So close.
It's even funny. I went across the street, and there was John Malkovich with a minder, all in a white suit. Hundreds of people around. He said, "I'm not going over there. I might be recognized." And so I had 2 bites at the famed cherry within a minute of each other. Anyway.
That's fantastic. I mean, that is why Cannes is worth... I mean, that's... for me, it's worth going for that, because just for the stories and the life experience, and just who knows who you meet and the fun of it. Yeah. It's worth going for how the film industry is, just how it look, how does it feel, what does it look like? As you said, Elliot, the trends. Where are we in 2025? What is it looking like? And yes, contacts, but just the sense of the buzz of the place and how exciting film is. Because if we weren't doing it for the excitement, then why do the thing? But there's plenty of information on the Raindance website about how to survive Cannes. Elliot always puts together a Cannes survival pack every year. Are you going this year, Elliot? You are going.
I am going. Yes.
Good.
But
so maybe we can do we can do a
live from the Cannes Film Festival
from the chateau, from the Raindance chateau.
Yeah. Are you going to Cannes, Simon?
I'm not sure. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe. Maybe. I haven't been for about 10 years, and it was last time I went. It was fantastic.
What?
Yeah. Every year it's different. I mean, you really notice how the film industry is such, I suppose many industries are, but not quite like film and entertainment, how the change is just visceral every year. It's just completely different from the year before and the year before, and you just go, wow, the world's moving into that. Oh no, we're moving into that. And also the social changes. What sort of films do we want? Diversity, this, environment, inclusivity, whatever, dealing with the crap that's going on in the world now. It's just, you really get a mirror on the world a little bit, I think, amidst all this excess and parties and free canapes and everything else. That wraps up our Cannes Survival Guide. Any last things to say about it? Do you think it's worth it for filmmakers on the whole, would you say? Last bit of a...
Yes, 2 reasons. If you want to know how the sharp end of the film industry, what it's really like behind the black curtain, then please go. It's a meat market, it really is. And secondly, if you have a thought or an idea of a film you like to make, of course, go and view it as product research. And you can do it on a big budget or a minuscule budget. But however you do it, remember, you will need some money, but the experience should be worth every single penny or shekel that you spend on it.
Thank you very much, Elliot. And I think that was a really interesting overview. I think our view both is get down there, eyes wide open, be careful you don't get ripped off, share an apartment with a few people, go to the parties, go to the canapes, go to the Come and Film in Poland party and eat those canapes dry, eat that dried pork, unless you're like us, vegan. Have a great time, have some parties, sense the industry, and you'll have a ball. Elliot, thank you very much. Thank you, all our friends who are watching our podcast. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Elliot.